Hannah here from Heal Hub. I'm the assistant psychologist and I'm here to talk to you about the gut-brain connection. So just in terms of how your gut health and your mental health are really linked. It's a lot of new research is coming in. And I don't know whether you've ever heard of it, but it's super important and it's something that since I've heard about it, I'm pretty obsessed with it. So we'll start off with talking about what is the gut. So what actually is the gut? So a proper definition is that the gut includes every organ that's involved with digesting food and processing into waste. And the lining of the gut is often called the second brain. So what you might want to know now is how are they connected? So, it's weird to think, how is my gut connected with my brain? So the gut, also known as the second brain, operates on its own and communicates with your actual brain. So they communicate physically through something called the vagus nerve. There's a lot of research to back this. And they also connect through chemicals which are affected by good or bad bacteria into the gut. And they also connect through things like neurotransmitters. So you're probably wondering, you've got this information, this biology, but what actually happens and what research actually backs this? So the research that actually backs this is that there's been a really strong connection between gastrointestinal disorders like chronic heartburn, chronic things like IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. They've been linked through research with anxiety and depression. So like anxiety and depression can cause, but it's a catch-22. Anxiety and depression can also cause changes in the gut microbiome because of what happens in your body when you have the fight or flight response, when you feel stressed. So your microbiome, if there's something wrong with it, that can then cause anxiety and depression. But anxiety and depression can also cause problems in your gut health. And there's been animal research as well that have confirmed these findings, although we can't base animal research on the human body research for the gut-brain connection. So if you've ever heard of the term, I've got that gut feeling that this is going to happen, there might actually be something in that, which I think is pretty cool. So if we now move on to some tips, I'm going to give you 10 tips that I feel really can help improve your gut health, which in turn can help your mental health. So if you're someone that's experiencing anxiety and depression, doing these little things might help you. So if you do these things and they do help you, please let me know in the comments, and hopefully they do help. So the first tip, which is also the cheapest tip, is to eat a diverse range of food, a diverse diet that's rich in fibre. So making sure you're eating things like your veg, your legumes, your beans, your fruit, and also things like raspberries, broccoli, chickpeas. There's a lot of different things that you can eat that will help. So if the more diverse your food intake is, the more diverse your gut bacteria will be. So I often think a good tip is to try and make sure that each meal is colourful as it can be. I actually find it quite difficult to do this, but it's just about being mindful of what you're eating and, trying your best. If you do have one meal that's completely beige, which we all do, just maybe your next meal making it a bit more colourful. That's what I'd suggest there. So your second tip is to make sure you're eating your fermented foods where possible. So things like yogurt, which says has live cultures or bacteria in, eating things like that is going to be really useful. And again, possibly, you can get cheap-ish yogurt. And then other things like kimchi, sauerkraut, just like pickled cabbage. You can actually make your own sauerkraut. I haven't done it, but it would save money, and it's definitely very good for your gut. As well, things like kefir, kombuchas, the drinks, which I really love. That they have a lot of those in the shops. Like even in just Tesco, you'll have like little bottles of kombucha. They're good for your gut. And then things like tempeh as well is good. The next tip, so the third tip, I would say, is where possible to see if you can take a probiotic. So I take this probiotic here. So it's just from Holland & Barrett's. So Holland & Barrett's is quite a good place to go if you did want to get your probiotics. But yeah, if you can take a probiotic every day, that's really great too. And your fourth tip is to eat a prebiotic rich diet. So probiotics are the healthy bacteria in your gut, and prebiotics is something that the probiotics or the healthy gut actually feeds on. So foods like asparagus, onions, garlic, bananas are really, really good to almost be like a food source for the healthy bacteria. It's quite strange how it works, but it's really cool. I have this prebiotic mix that I have sometimes with yogurt, or put it in my smoothie. It's got like flaxseed, blueberry, maca, goji berries. It's pretty good. It's more on the expensive side, but if that's doable for you, then it's a good option. And your fifth tip is to reduce artificial sweeteners where possible. So I was a massive Diet Coke fan. I was drinking loads of it, but since I found this out, I've cut it out, which is hard at first because obviously things like that are addictive. But things like things with artificial sweeteners in, like your Diet Cokes and stuff like that, are really not great for your gut health, according to research. So I've just tried to cut that out. Anything that's majorly processed and really high in sugar or artificial sweeteners isn't amazing for your gut health. So your sixth tip is, where possible, try and eat a plant-based diet. So if you still want to eat meat, if you want to eat vegetarian, you can just, where possible, see if you can sneak in a plant-based diet somewhere. So there's research that people that are on a plant-based diet actually have a stronger gut health, better gut health. So that's what research says, which is great. If you are plant-based, that's great news. And if you're not, then where possible, try and eat plant-based. And as well, I really can't hammer on enough, when you are eating plant-based, not a junk plant-based diet, so making sure that you're having your veg, limiting your sugar, etc., etc. And then my seventh tip is, where possible, to eat polyphenols. So things like dark chocolate, red wine in moderation, broccoli, blueberries, green tea, almonds. So all of these things are really good for polyphenols. So polyphenols is another thing that's proven to help your gut health. My eighth tip is cleaning products. I know we're obviously in COVID at the moment, but if you're overusing antibacterial things and they manage to get onto your food, then you're ingesting antibacterial, which might get rid of any bad bacteria, but will also kill the good bacteria. So, if you're using antibac on your kitchen loads of times every day, which I was doing before I found this out, try and reduce that where possible. Maybe do it once a day or once every 2 days, and just wiping the food off. So just I guess what I'm trying to say here is be mindful about the amount of antibac you're using constantly, because it will interfere with the body's natural good bacteria. So my 9th tip is to avoid taking unnecessary antibiotics. Now, I've taken so many antibiotics in my life. I used to take it for my acne. Honestly, I've taken loads. I used to get tonsillitis a lot, and I used to take antibiotics every single time. Since like researching, so I really try and take antibiotics as a last resort, and try and use more natural methods where possible to get rid of bacterial viruses, because antibiotics do get rid of the bad bacteria, but then they also do affect the good bacteria as well. So just where possible, really try and, be mindful about the antibiotic usage that you may have. And my 10th tip is kind of an all-rounder. So it's more so making sure that you have the healthiest lifestyle as possible. So I did mention before, it's kind of a catch-22. Stress affects your gut microbiome negatively, but then an unhealthy gut microbiome will then also make you more stressed. But if you are doing things like making sure you've got a good diverse diet, you're taking care of your sleep, you're trying to keep your stress down, all of these different things are going to really, really help in terms of your body processing, and then you're going to be more likely to have a stronger gut microbiome. But definitely watch your stress, because there's been a lot of research to link stress, high levels of stress, with poor microbiomes. But it's kind of a chicken and the egg. It's like which came first, but I'd say make sure to do both. But hopefully this has helped you, and hopefully you'll see a difference with your mental health if you do follow these tips. Let me know if you do, and yeah, hope you all have a good day. Thank you. Bye bye.